God damn it, why does it always have to be empty when you need it? I think I got enough in there. I'm pretty damn close. And let me pull the trigger, see if anything comes out of here. Oh yeah, there's still a little in there. Let's see if we can make it work. Okay, weekend shenanigan part 2. So this is a closer look at that axle. And the way it works, as you can see, there's a bearing surface here. And that's where an inner seal rides, and that keeps the oil from the basically the differential from getting into the bearing here, the tapered roller bearing. Then there's another bearing, or another grease seal on the other side. It's inside of here, and that also failed. So the two of them failed. This one failed first. Oil got into the wheel bearing and washed out all the grease. Although I think this bearing's okay, so I'd like to save it if I could, because it looks like an expensive bearing. But then the outer bearing, or outer grease seal, failed, and that caused grease to get, or oil and grease, I guess there was some mixed in, to get from the differential through the bearing and into the brakes, and then that caused brake failure. So, I mean, and I don't want oil in here either, because this is supposed to be greased. So anywho, this is a giant nut. This is a 2 3/4 inch nut, and I don't have anything that size, and even if I did have a socket that size, I mean, there's this giant shaft in the way. So I've cut these pieces here, and I'm going to weld them up. Now the thing is, I don't want to get weld spatter into the bearing, so pro tip, take some aluminum foil, and you just kind of wad it up and shove it in there. And now you've got something to kind of catch the spatter and keep it from making an unholy mess in there. So let's get welding, shall we? Well, it's just enough to get it welded up. Let's see what she looks like. That's a good tight fit. Oh, mama. There we go, that's our socket. I'm gonna weld along these, put a band around it, and I gotta put some sort of giant handle on it. And that'll do her. Well, not my prettiest welds in the world. Got a couple of good runs in there. Although I think the gas is starting to peter out, which is making it kind of difficult. But the definition of irony, you get to there, and suddenly, look, the needle's so far down, it's basically on the peg. But I ran out of wire first. Son of a bitch. Well, I may have ran out of gas, but it's a nice enough fit on there, and I think I got enough of them that I could get to come off. So we're gonna take this guy here, put on that guy there, and see if we can crank the sucker off. Well, I think this was supposed to be torqued to 200 foot-pounds or something like that, and it really doesn't appear to be, because I'm able to rotate it. So I wonder if something's up. Well, the whole shaft was trying to spin, and that's a no bueno. So now I got her in the vise. I can put the big wrench on her. God, she's fighting me something fierce. This is where we're at right now. I got a bar, a little piece of hickory, which looks like it's actually bowing it from the force, and chalked up in the bench. I'm putting all my weight on the end of this. This is maybe 2 feet off, and it's taking a good bit of oomph. But we'll get her off. We'll get her off. There, come to Papa. She's almost there. Come on. Oh. How many threads does this sucker have? Oh, it's gotta be getting close now. Come on. Oh, I think this is it. Can I do it by hand? Oh yeah. Who's your daddy? That's right, folks. After a harrowing bit of elbow grease. Oh, baby. Not sure if those threads are chowdered. Looks like they're not too bad. These guys will probably clean up. Now, the more important thing, how do the threads on this sucker look? Have to get it off to see down in there. Oh, here's that bolt that fell off while I was wrenching on it. So now the question, how hard is it going to be to get this guy to come out? Yeah, that's the one where the press is going to be required. Oh joy. Okay, here's the setup. It just barely fit in the press. I had to find whatever steel I had lying around. Now we're going to put about 20 tons on her. See if we can get her to move. Come on, baby. Don't fight it. Actually, it looks like it's starting to move. So I just got to keep her moving. Get this sucker out of there. Well, it seemed like it was going well. Almost too well. And if you look, that's a bow. It's just bending these. Son of a gun. I have to get creative here. Yeah, it's looking good. Nice wrinkle black. Let that sit for a while. Update on Datsun project. Brake lines are partially in. Fuel lines are in. Tunnel's been painted and undercoated. Electrical connections are in. Battery tray needs modification. Fuel lines in. And the wire harness is coming together. Hopefully, after I get this guy all finished up, get this in the car, and then the engine itself. Sorry about the wind noise. Engine bay is prepped and ready to go, except for a bunch of crap down there, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, all the lines that I won't be able to reach when the engine's in are already in. So, engine's out of the box, up in the air. Flywheel's also out of the box, on the engine. And here's a little quick tip. If you need to torque the flywheel bolts, tie down the wrench and put it on the main lobe. It'll actually end up tightening it, so it won't damage that at all because it's tightening it. And on this side, you push down and the wrench can't go up because it's tied to the frame. So sometimes you got to get creative. Like clutch and pressure plate are on and torqued. Time to go grab the transmission from over there, bring it over. Plug these two bad boys together. Pro tip when installing the yoke and throwout bearing, a little bit of anti-seize on stuff goes a really long ways, and nice thing is it doesn't schmoo all over the place, and it doesn't it's not like a grease, it's gonna get flung and whatnot. It's a copper paste really, so yeah, a little bit of that will make things last a good long time. Check operation, ensure everything is smooth. Very nice. And then hunt for all the missing bolts and pray that you can get this sucker together. Words can hardly describe how painful and difficult that just was. Luckily, only I got a little bippy there, which I could touch up, and a little bippy there. Again, not too hard to touch up. So, didn't drop the engine, didn't slam it into anything. Well, bumped it into the firewall a little bit, but nothing horrible. Or as horrible as it could have gone. I've seen people drop these things in and crush front radiator mounts and stuff. Anywho, let's get the hood on this thing, call it a day. That was painful. I'm gonna need some ibuprofen.